Hi there, and welcome to Andy Robinson RC, and cheers for checking out the channel today and joining us on this episode. Okay, so there is lots of stuff on the table, but the actual focus of this video, although it's probably the shortest bit of the video, is to let you know which vintage car I'm going to restore next, or recommission, however you want to put it. And in my last video, there was two videos ago, sorry, there was two choices between the Roby Cheyenne and the AYK Sidewinder. So I asked people to comment in the comments and vote which one you'd like to see done first. Now, I must admit, I didn't go back and count every single comment, but from looking at it, the AYK was by far the most popular out of the two to be done. So that is what will be done next. So there you go, can't remember what it's like. This is what I showed you. I've got the AYK there, it's a Sidewinder. Now there's two types of bodies for this car. I've got this one, so I'll probably be putting one on. See what I can find for this one. This one's unfortunately is past its best. There's a hole in it at the top, and it's all cracked and super glued at the back, and it doesn't look very pretty really. Which is a shame, because I actually like the blue and white body, but it needs a new one. So I'm going to attempt to find a type of replacement body for this. Other than that, you know, and that's it all inside. It's a bit grubby, but it is in, you know, I'll put the air in. It's grubby, but it's in good condition. So yeah. So that's the one we're gonna do. So the AYK Sidewinder wins the vote. So I must say a massive thanks to everyone who commented and voted for which RC to be done first. Much appreciated that. Now, as you can see, there's other stuff on the table. Now, I had the Yokomo out last week, racing it for the first time at my local club. So at my club, you have to use the Schumacher honeycomb tyres, because that's the control tyre that we have for the buggies, because the brand new carpet that we've put down, we want to make it last as long as possible. And we have all sorts, we have off-road nights on it, and we have the on-road nights on it. So we thought, you know, if you use something like the honeycombs, then it won't get as chewed up as much as with the spiked tyres or carpet, more aggressive carpet tyres. Anyway, so obviously I've got some JC Racing wheels on, as you can see, just some black ones. I thought they'd go quite nicely with the body shell. And yeah, so I absolutely loved it. It drove really, really nice. I had to make a few changes to it, not massive. Basically, I moved the shocks to the outer hole, and on all four corners, I moved the shocks to the outer hole on the lower arms, and it just made it easier to drive. Lowered it down so it didn't want to roll over. So that was good. And yeah, as I said, it was great to drive. Really enjoyed it. Now, I need to go, from driving it, I mean, it feels alright, but I do need to put some slightly thicker oil in the front. But apart from that, I was quite happy with it. And yeah, it went where I wanted it to go. I just felt that I couldn't quite lean on the car as much as I wanted to. But yeah, so I'm hoping if I add that thicker oil in the front there, I haven't got any other spring rates, so I'm going to go with that, and I think that should cure my problem with it. I'll give it a go and we'll find out. I suppose the other option as well is to leave that and super glue the outside of the tyres, and that'll probably also help as well. Anyway, I've not decided yet. I am going to try it with the slightly stiffer oil first. Anyway, so there you go. So yeah, really enjoyed running that. Now I did have one slight problem, is that where the hub it has a grub screw in the hub, and it bolts down to the axle, and I lost a wheel in my third heat. So after that race, I checked them all, and it was the front ones really. The rear two were okay, but the front had come adrift, so I tightened them all back down and carried on. But what I need to do is I need to go and put some thread lock in, and I should have done it from when I built it, to be honest. But anyway, that's what I'll go and do. Lesson learned. But apart from that, it was great. That was only a slight mishap with it. It was awesome. Absolutely loved it. I did get a bit of belt skip when I actually raced it, and I'm going to get a top deck for it from Lightning Components. So I'm hoping that'll help cure a bit of the belt skip. But yeah, so really cool. Thoroughly enjoyed the 870C. Lovely stuff. Right, what else have we got? Well, as you can see, we have the RC10 Classic Clear Edition. Now, this was unboxed, it might have been just before Christmas now, but we did an unboxing on it, and here it is built up. Now, they came back in stock in my local shop yesterday, Inside Line Models. They didn't get loads back in, but they got a few in. And to be honest, I think they're all spoken for anyway, because there's demand outstrip supply, unfortunately. But this was one that was that I pre-ordered. Now, what happened is Paul at the store said, right, they're in. So I said, right, I'll come and get it. Now I was thinking, because I'd heard some reports about building it and watched a few videos, and there's been issues with some of the parts slightly cracking when screwing it together, or screws snapping and various things like that. And I thought, oh, I don't fancy that, because again, you're not going to be able to generally just go out and buy replacement parts for it, unless anyone's gone and stripped a kit down to sell for spares. And I'm probably not going to buy another kit. I don't know. Certainly not at the moment. So I was a bit wary of building it, because I have problems with my hands and my arms. When I do things off camera, it's usually awkward, or it can be at funny angles, or just how I manage to do stuff is not always in a conventional way. So I thought I can't run the risk of damaging it. So I asked Paul at the store, would he mind letting me have the one that he built up for display, and which is the one I unboxed, and he could have my brand new one box if he didn't mind. And really pleased that he agreed to that. So a massive thanks, Paul. You've saved me some probably some struggling there and some heartache if it all went wrong. So this is the one that was on display. Now, what I have done this morning is I put this strengthening tubes on from the nose plate to the chassis tub. That hadn't been done, and we got the aerial mount and the battery stay put in, as they hadn't been put on yet. So I did that, and now it's ready for some electrics, because we are going to run this, and the bodywork. So I just thought I'd tell you where we're up to with that. So that's ace. So I'm glad I've got this in now, because I've been waiting for ages, and I was almost getting to the point where I've not lost interest in it, but because the hype around it at the time, and then you find out you're having to wait for God knows how long, it kills some of the initial passion for it, I suppose. But I'm really glad it's here now, and I kind of like the fact it's the one that I built up. It's the one that's been built up from what I unboxed, so that's cool. So again, that'll be coming as soon as I finish it off. Just got to wait for some electrics and to do the body shell. Got the paints, and we'll see what happens. Right, actually what I will do is I'll move this out of the way, I've decided. Right. Also, from last week's meeting, I picked up at the club, this. Now, doesn't look much, does it? But some of you eagle-eyed people out there will notice that if you completely ignore this toy grade cheap new bright body shell, we whip that off. Woohoo! Look at what we've got here. This is from 1983. It's kit number 5836 or 58036, and it is a Tamiya Audi Quattro Rally from 1983. And, you know, so this is now, you know, what, 41 years old now? And it is in fantastic condition. The tyres are brilliant, no perishing. There is a slight flat spot, I think, somewhere on the front right tyre. But apart from that, it does need a little bit of clean up, but it all works. There's minimal markings underneath. I couldn't believe it. And it's got its original radio gear in there. That's the handset that came with it as well. And it also came with its manual, which is good. And the manual for the handset. So I was really pleased. It was a chap that came, didn't come all the time, but he'd come the following week before saying he had this Quattro Rally. And he said, oh, I might bring it next time and show it you. So I thought, oh, that's cool. And then he did bring it last week, and then he said, oh, I want to get rid of it. Would you be interested, sort of thing? And it was like, yes, I would. So we sorted a price for it. And yeah, there we go. So I'm really pleased to have that. Now, the gear part is, it didn't come with, obviously, the genuine, proper Audi Quattro Rally body. So I'm going to have to try and find one of them. And that's going to be quite dear, I imagine, trying to find that. Because they're not like something you can just readily get. Now, I would settle, if I could find one, the Opel Ascona as well, because it's the same underneath, just with the Opel body on, as far as I know. So, if I couldn't get the Audi, I mean, obviously I ideally want the Audi, because it's got the manual for the Audi, and that's what it was originally. But if I was really struggling, and you beggars can't be choosers, always, I would settle for an Opel Ascona. So we will see. But I thought I'd show you that because it's just so cool. It all works as it is, so I'm not going to touch with anything of that because it's so nice and original. Well, yeah, this part is and everything. I don't really want to start messing with it. And again, once at some point, I'd like to think, I don't know how long it'll take to source the body and all that, but once it is done, we'll get it out and we'll run it, because it does run. I've seen it go, I've tried it, it's great, you know. And then there's this, and I'm sure you'll all know what this is. So this is from 1989, and it is Tamiya's 81st model RC kit, and it is the Nissan King Cab. Again, now this was off eBay, but a friend of mine, Adrian Prince, who sometimes race with at some of the events, posted a link to this on one of the local club chat groups, and said this has got to be a steal. And I looked at it and I thought, look at that, King Cab, fancy one. I've wanted one of these for ages and ages, and I've either not bought one because I've held off because I've got something else, or they've been out of my price range, like for a fully restored one. So, you know, anyway, I looked at this, and from the pictures, it looked really good. Now, it had been listed not as a Tamiya or anything. It was something like RX car, RX RC car, RC, something like that. Anyway, and of course, obviously, we could tell what it was. So, and it was £59 on eBay. So, of course, that was an absolute steal. So, anyway, so I went, yeah, buying that. I couldn't miss one at that price. There's no damage to it at all, from what I can see. No damage at all to it. Yeah. And then, oddly, later on the same night, I found the same car listed again for £159. So I questioned the seller about it, saying, I've just bought this off you for $59.99. And then I've also found it just now for $159. You know, I was sort of like, what's going on? I thought, oh, have I been scammed? Anyway, he did reply to me a day later, and he said, no, it's not a scam. I just made a mess of the listing. But what worried me is that, as I said, this was originally listed up as like RX or RC car. and the next listing for the bigger price had Tamiya Nissan King Cab. So I thought, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he did take the other listing down, and I waited for the arrival of this, and it turned up, so I'm super stoked at that. And as I said, Nissan King Cab, excellent. Overall, looks in super condition, really. It's been used, but it looks in, you know, there's no damage at the front, at the chassis, or where the bumper usually mounts. I mean, I don't know what the condition of the gearbox is, because I haven't run it. It does feel alright, but, you know, it's the Astute gearbox, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything, does it? And it's got probably a hotter motor in than it probably usually would have, so I don't know. So before it gets built up again and finished off, I will shove a receiver and battery in it and just see what the gearbox is like on it. It does also need a proper steering link bar, where has it gone? And track rod end there, it's missing it. Now at some point this has been in pieces, and the chassis, I don't know if it's had paint on it in the past or it's got a bit scratched up, so I think at some point by the previous owner or another owner of the car, it's been sprayed. The chassis tub itself has been sprayed in like a matte black, which I couldn't tell on the pictures, but really, as I said, for the price that I gave for it, you still can't grumble at that. The rest of it, the rest of the chassis plates, gearbox plate, wishbones, bumper, have got minimal scratches on it. So, you know, and of course, obviously, it's missing its correct, the big balloons pinspike tyres, which again, they cost a fortune as well. Trying to get some of them. I would like to get some for it. So we'll see. I've got an alternate idea if I can't get any. But yeah. So for like a budget King Cab, over the moon with that, really. So again, I can't. A massive thanks to Adrian, who posted that link up, and I was just quick enough to follow it up. So cheers, Adrian. I say, yeah, Team Blue Groove body. So obviously that's fine. I could finish cutting it out, get it sprayed up. Now, because I was going to say it's pretty original. It's original, isn't it? Really, apart from the chassis tub's been resprayed over the top, and it's got the incorrect tyres. You know, the rest of it is grand. Well, shocks desperately need oil in. I was thinking it'd be really nice if I could find a nicely used King Cab body. Now, it's still not going to be cheap to do that, and it's waiting till one comes available, but that might be the route I go. I'm not in any rush to do it. I just couldn't refuse the offer at the time. So, yeah. So there we go. So that's what we've got. We've got a King Cab to do at some point. I'd say it's on parts availability, isn't it? So these will possibly take time, really, as and when I find things for them. But yeah, I couldn't say no to them, really. So there you go. So 1983 Audi Quattro Rally, 1989 King Cab, and I say I wanted one of these ever since I had the little Teo Tyco Nissan truck, which has the almost same box art as this Tamiya one does. And if you've not seen that, I'll put a link to the video of that in this description, because I had one a year or so back, and that was one of my first ever RC cars. Before I started getting hobby grade stuff. So anyway, that wraps up this one. Again, cheers to everyone who voted for the AYK to be restored, and cheers for looking at all the other stuff I've just had out. Yeah, so ace. So look after yourselves, take care, and we'll see you on the next one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, Andy Robinson RC on YouTube, and you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook under Andy Robinson RC. Right then, I'm going to go for now because I've obviously got a lot to be getting on with. Right, take care. We'll see you all soon. Bye.